nothing is going to be perfect. There's always going to be someone that you will look up to, right? And you wonder, oh, I wish I could do that. Why can't I do this, right?
And there are probably many people already looking up to you and want to be in the position you are currently in, right?
Exactly. And that's a way to look at it, is just having that self-reminder that there are other people out there that are looking up to you at what you do.
Hey guys, my name is Goran. I'm a digital nomad and I'm working as a freelancer in digital marketing and social media management. This is the second part of my new series, and my second guest is Tyler K from Vancouver Island in Canada. Welcome, Tyler. How are you doing today?
Great. Thanks for having me. This is beautiful. I am out here in Croatia right now, like Goran said. My name is Tyler Cave, and I am from Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada.
Yeah, so let's start right away with the questions. Tell me a little bit more about you. Who are you and what are you doing? What is like special in your life?
Yeah, so I am a freelance videographer and photographer. I started out with videography and photography as a passion. I actually went to university for criminology, and throughout my years in university, I always had a hobby and an interest in videography and photography. And so that passion took me that direction, and now it is my full-time career, and I've been doing this for about 6 to 7 years now, full-time.
That's very interesting. That's especially why I wanted to have a talk with Tyler. This one isn't only about remote working, but it is about pursuing happiness and the passion, as he started something completely different than what he's doing right now. And that's what I wanted to talk about, because most people feel pressure that they have to keep working in the industry they have studied in, if it's business, medicine, law, whatever it is. And he's a very good example of why it's not actually necessary, because the important thing is that you love what you do and you can still make a good career and a good living out of it. So your diploma actually doesn't matter too much. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, I would say this is very similar to a digital nomad lifestyle, but from a different perspective, from a creator perspective, where I would say I could be a digital nomad, but in a way that I'm creating content. So with freelance videography, it's very similar to the two, and I think they align very similar. Like Goran said, you don't always have to go to school to follow your passions. You can make things work outside of what we think is possible in school.
So you have changed your career path. When and why did you start changing your whole career path, and how did you feel when you have started out with this journey?
So yeah, I went to university straight out of high school. So I was 18 years old, and everyone thinks they must go back into school, they must get a degree, they must continue schooling, because that's what
Social
you're taught.
pressure, no?
Yeah,
That's social pressure.
yeah, social pressure, and that's what you're taught to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But throughout my university degree, taking criminology, I realized that I didn't want to be stuck in an office. I wanted to have a lifestyle where I could be free to do what I wanted to do and when I wanted to do it. And so throughout my years during school, I was always interested in videography and photography. And I never thought it would be a reality to actually do this as a career. I always thought it was a hobby, a passion, something that I could just do for fun on the side. Maybe in the summer times, I could go traveling, on a vacation, aside from my, 9 to 5 work schedule. But yeah, the reason I switched was that reason. It was, I just didn't want to be stuck in a position. I wanted the freedom to make my own choices, I guess you'd say.
I can fully relate to that, so that's very good. Now we had two serious questions. Let's go to the first fun question.
Okay, here we go.
What would be your last meal, and why would it be this one?
That's a question. I mean, that's a tough question because there's so many good meals. And now that I'm in Croatia, I think burak is one of the options.
Burek, yeah,
Burak.
I understand that, to be honest.
I'm just kidding. No, I think I honestly I would keep it pretty simple. I would probably go with like a gourmet cheeseburger.
Yeah, he's talking always about cheeseburgers. He loves them really much. And to be honest, I like them too. Okay, let's go to the next question. How did you feel when you have started out your journey, and what do you think were the biggest obstacles in your new career path?
Yeah, that's an important question because myself, I grew up being a very shy person. Throughout high school, I was very shy, and I had my core group of friends. But I think the transition of starting out with my biggest obstacle was just having the self-confidence to actually make that next step, because a lot of times I was nervous, or I was scared of failure.
Yeah.
That's a big thing, is being scared of failing, and I still get that today, right? Like everyone gets that, the feeling that you're gonna fail or it's not gonna work out, and everyone's been there, everyone's failed, everyone's been in that situation, but that's where you learn from it. But I think the biggest obstacle is the self doubt of can you actually do this, or can you actually make this possible in your life?
Yeah, I think even like that's a point for introverts as well as for extroverts. I would consider myself more as an extroverted person, and I still like today whatever I start to do, even though I'm successful in some parts, for the future I still feel some like self doubts. Like, is it going to work? Can I improve? Can I grow as a person?
Yeah.
I think that's something everybody has in common who wants to start out a not traditional way where you don't have like a salary that's like confirmed like every month, and you want to grow, do more things.
Yeah, that's the main thing is income too, right? Like when you obviously have to afford to sustain your life and your groceries, your rent, your mortgage, whatever it is, right? And so having a job where you're relying on only yourself for your income, and you don't know how much you're going to get paid next. Maybe one month you're not going to get paid anything, right? Maybe the next month you get paid more, right? So just not having that consistent work schedule is it's scary at first, right? And it's an obstacle that it's hard to wrap your mind around. But I think today in this day of age, like there's so many freelance people like that are out there working for themselves. You know, everything is going to the direction of remote working, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that is becoming more common, and the way society is working, it's becoming it's a more common way of living.
And when you have started out, would you say that you had support of family and friends like immediately on your journey, or did you feel like, oh my God, I'm all alone? How was it in your personal position?
Yeah. I had support from my family and my friends. A lot of my friends, they work, 9 to 5 jobs. They work for the government, so it's very structured. So in that sense, I didn't really have anyone to, I would say, follow along with in that situation to say, okay, you're doing it as well. I can do this as well. Like maybe not with you, but like kind of alongside them, right? They're going along that
like
journey,
following their own journey, their own passion, and support each other while growing your self doubts that they like to feel related, right?
Yeah, there's no one really to relate to in that industry, and so that's why that's why it's another obstacle, because it's like that kind of checks into the self doubt of like, is this possible? But I think just with my family and my friends, they're always very supportive, and I've always enjoyed traveling. I've always enjoyed backpacking, so just getting out there, and like even before I started videography, I took a 6-month trip, and I traveled around Asia, and that was an eye-opener to what like the world really has to offer, right? Because there's so much more out there that is there to see, and it was just like other people experiencing the same situations that I was, right?
Yeah, exactly. When you have started out with your own production company, I am 100% sure that you have felt lost in some parts of the process, that you have felt stuck, that you didn't know how to go on. How did you deal with those processes? How did you deal with those problems to really make the step forward and make everything bigger and better as you have wanted to do it?
Yeah, I think the main thing is that there's always going to be someone out there that is as good or better than you at what you do, right? That's the key thing that you always need to remember. You can't be perfect. Nothing is going to be perfect. There's always going to be someone that you will look up to, right? And you wonder, oh, I wish I could do that. Why can't I do this, right?
And there are probably many people already looking up to you and want to be in the position you are currently in, right?
Exactly, and that's a way to look at it, is just having that self-reminder that there are other people out there that are looking up to you at what you do. And so, although it's always going to carry on that way. So just making sure, like, if you ever have those self-doubts, and that's kind of sometimes where I've had my self-doubts, or where I have felt stuck in my journey, is when I start to compare myself to other people, right? And it's good, but it's bad also, because that can put you in a spiral of like, I'm not good enough. What am I doing with my life, right? Like why? Like maybe you self-doubt. You start self-doubting
Here
yourself.
again with the negative points of social media, maybe
Right.
always comparing to the better person and not comparing to people who are not as far in their as far in their journey as you are currently, right?
Yeah. So that's the thing, is that the comparing. But I think if you look on when you step back and you look on the other side of it, you see that you just need to do what makes you happy. I know it sounds cheesy and cliche, but honestly, if you focus on your own goals, you set your own goals, and you try to achieve those, as long as you're happy with what you are creating and what you are doing with your life, that's all you can really ask for, because you can't compare yourself all the time.
Another question.
Yeah.
How do you enjoy this hot, beautiful day in Croatia? You also hot?
I'm hot right now, but I come from Vancouver Island, Canada, and we get like probably 80% of the year is rain, but it's been sun every single day, so I'm just trying to work on my tan now.
Yeah, you're doing great, actually. You're doing great. So to switch things up, let's get to another fun question.
All right.
Which one do we take? If you could take one celebrity with you on your next trip, who would it be and why?
Oh man. But I go between a few different celebrities depending on where I am. Whether
One celebrity,
Oh, man.
one why, and one destination. Give me the destination.
Okay. Ah, I probably want to do something. I'd love to go to like Antarctica. I'd love to meet
cold.
Nicolas Cage
Oh,
because I feel like he would be an amazing person to sit down with and have dinner with. I feel like I could talk to Nicolas Cage for hours and it would be the most enjoyable thing in my life.
in Antarctica?
Why not? In an igloo, maybe?
So let's move on to the next question. Starting with your own business, following your own journey path, destination, whatever it is a very hard thing. You always have to keep working, you have to have a good discipline. What would you say? How did you improve your discipline that you can really go from goal to goal? What did you do to not lose faith along the process and to really grow as a person and in your project?
Yeah.
Difficult question.
Yeah, that is a hard question. Yeah, I think to keep growing as a person, I think you always have to have goals and achievements that you want to succeed in, right? Like I said before, having people that you look up to, sometimes you get discouraged, but seeing other people create, that just gives you motivation to do more and create more and be better and give you ideas, right? Like I think just having goals is the best way to keep going forward. And yeah, I'd say just having a plan, having like a 3-5 year plan is great because if you have this plan, you shoot for higher than you think, right? You always set your goals more than what you hope you could do, right?
You should, yeah.
You should, because if you don't succeed in some, at least like that gives you a perspective to succeed in the ones that you know that were hard, right? So I think yeah, just having a plan, having a 5 year plan, whether that's writing it down or you're writing it in a notepad, whatever it is on a board, just to visualize it is definitely key.
One recommendation I have for your own goals is it to set goals that you can actually, I wouldn't say achieve, but you can like influence. So that means, for example, for YouTube, social media, whatever it is, don't put your goal, I want to have 1,000 subscribers within 2 months, because it doesn't depend on you. It depends on people, if they like content, if the algorithms work. But you can set your goals, for example, I want to publish a video every week. I want to write every week an article. I want to do this and this every month. I want to go 5 times a week to the gym. So
Realistic goals.
yeah, they have to be realistic.
Yeah.
And depending on you
yeah,
and
they're
your
not.
behavior.
Yeah, they're not depending on other people to achieve those goals. You're
Exactly.
depending on
That's very important.
on yourself to obtain those goals. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree completely. Question number 7. What would you say were some of your most successful or most memorable moments you had on your journey so far?
Wow, it's crazy. That
You have many, I know that. So
man.
some of the best.
I'd say some of the most memorable or most successful situations I've had so far would probably be the ones that I went into for fun and not actually a work situation, because I got into like getting into videography and photography. You get the jobs that you get a person emailing you that, hey, can you do this or can you do that? But when you go out and you create something that you are passionate about and you just have fun doing it and you really enjoy it, that really shines through to the final product. And I've had many situations where I've just gone out and adventured. Like I live on Vancouver Island. I'm surrounded by beautiful lakes, oceans, mountains, and just getting out there and just like creating something because I was passionate about it. That was my most successful situation, and that led to a lot of extra work after that. And clients that saw the video and are like, wow, I want to create something like this for our brand. And so I'd say like that was probably my most successful story, is creating something that I was passionate about that didn't have a direction, that I was able to put my direction into,
Yeah.
that led to
That's actually the dream for what you're doing, right, with the production company.
yeah, and
Do what you like, get paid very well, and enjoy the whole process and grow as a person, grow as a creator.
yeah. There's always going to be times where you feel like you're stuck and you have to, you're just going through the motions of doing a job, or okay, you get an email, now you got to go do this, go do an interview, right? But you need to always make sure you have time for personal projects, because if those are the ones that will really shine through is the personal projects, and those are the ones that will push you forward to like further your career, honestly.
Great. And let's have a look to your future right now. What would you say are your next like bigger goals you have for your own career path? And are your goals changing constantly along your journey?
Yeah, I'd say my goals are always changing. Everyone should have goals that are changing. Maybe, right? Is that
Yeah,
you have
along
like
the
you have your set goals like for long term, but I think short term, like everyone has goals that are changing all the time, right? Like maybe you see something and you're like, wow, I had no idea this was possible, and that kicks into another goal that you
yeah,
want.
surroundings change,
Yeah,
technology
yeah,
changes,
exactly.
you change as a person, so you sometimes think, oh my god, that would be great, like to readjust your plans.
Yeah, but I think for me, my goal is always to just enjoy what I'm doing. I never want to be worn out of the repeat content, right? I never want to just go through the motions and do it because I have to do it. And that comes along with doing those passion projects and making sure you always have your goals to create something personal for yourself.
Yeah, that's actually the dream. To enjoy what you do and don't feel like you're like stuck in a job in a position now. Okay, that was very serious now. Next fun question.
All right.
If you could teleport yourself to any place in the world right now, where would you go and why? The only right question would be to Croatia because he's in a beautiful country right now, but
Yeah.
I know he's going to say something else.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I would go back to Hvar Island. I would go somewhere in Croatia, but I'm here. But
Let's take another country. I'm not going to take it personally.
I always wanted to go to the Cook Islands in
Why?
Samoa. Why? It's just beautiful. It looks beautiful. I see.
I agree.
I don't know. Like Antarctica was the one place I would love to go with Nicolas Cage, and then let's switch it up. I would want to teleport to Samoa.
So we're already coming to kind of the end of the video, to the interview. Maybe from your point of view, what would you like recommend to people who are about to start to find their own passion, their dream, who want to start but they feel that they have no passion and maybe even no knowledge and are not happy with their current life? What would you recommend to this kind of people where we have been as well a few years ago?
Yeah, I would say the one message to remember is just I would say the one message to remember if you are going to go to this nomadic lifestyle is to just remember where you started and what your passions are, and let your passions just continue to encourage you to go forward and create more or do more, because there is a lot of challenges along the way, but nothing is impossible to achieve if you really want to do it. Like I learned everything I do on YouTube. I learned all camera techniques, all photography from YouTube.
For free, huh? It's for free. So money is no excuse along your journey because you can learn whatever you want on YouTube and other parts in the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Like I took a university degree. I do nothing with that anymore. Not saying that's a negative way to go, but everything I learned from my career was through YouTube and just learning from other people that are sharing their stories. And there's going to be struggles. There's going to be times where you feel like you're not going anywhere. It could be even a year, right? Like Goran said, it's like you create a YouTube channel and you get 100 views on your YouTube. But you got to make sure you don't think of that. You create your content, or you do what you want to do because you are passionate about it and because you love to do it. Not because of who's watching, not because of how much work you're getting out of it. Just do it because you love to do it. And if you don't love to do it, then maybe it's not for you.
So to finish this interview, do you have maybe a personal message to the audience who's interested in starting something but they're still in the beginning of the journey? One last message from you maybe?
Yeah. Learn from other people. Take the skills that you learn from other people and implement them into your own lifestyle, and practice what you do. Don't be afraid to fail, and use that competition as motivation to succeed in your own dreams.
So we have reached the end of this interview. Tyler, thank you very much. It was really a pleasure to have you here. I hope you have been able to take some valuable points out of his experience, out of his own journey. And if you enjoy this kind of content, feel free to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment. Also, if you have questions to Tyler, he will maybe answer your comments directly. I will also put down his Instagram and his YouTube in the description below. Thank you very much and see you in the next one.
Subscribe.